Hey everybody, happy Sunday. Something like that. Why don't I practice before these shows? Um, Happy Sunday, everybody. Cheers. We're halfway through July. Wow. You know, we wait for that good weather for such a long time, and then all of a sudden it's here and we have to savor it. Like I said, to savor the holiday season a long time ago, savor your July. Savor, because, when I was growing up in the West End of Toronto, cheers, stay hydrated as well, people out there. Um, when I was growing up in the GTA Toronto area, once the CNE started, that was it. Like, it actually started getting cooler when out in those years, those days of yore, and that was it. I mean, CNE was the last 2 weeks of August. Labor ended on Labor Day weekend, and then we're back to school, and it was depressing. But yeah, savor your summer. Savor the summer. Say hello to Brian. This is my Telecaster that I built myself, called Brian. Why is it called Brian? Because if you watch the crazy little thing called Love video, pause this right now and go, and I'll wait. But no, crazy little thing called Love video by Queen, and this is the guitar he's playing in the video, where you normally see the red special with related to Brian May. He had to play a Telecaster for that twangy solo that I sort of played just now. Apparently, the blue Telecaster that he played, which I thought was so cool, blue with a black guard. So I built this guy out of a bunch of replacement parts. It's an Ibanez neck. Ibanez Roadstar neck was shaved down to look like this. A new headstock in that. Cool guitar. I don't play enough. I should bring this out more. Basically, it was I think it was the legend has it was Roger Taylor's guitar actually, and he ended up playing it on stage. Here's the coolest Brian May moment when I was very young, because I used to watch Saturday Night Live in my black and white TV in my bedroom in Superior Avenue in Toronto, and Queen was on Saturday Night Live. As you know, they have musical guests, and they played a crazy little thing called Love. So they start the song, and Freddie's actually playing an Ovation acoustic, playing the intro, but he doesn't really look like, you can tell it's Brian playing it back and behind him. So Brian's playing an Ovation acoustic, and they're playing through the song, and there's a stop. And then Brian changes guitars. All of a sudden, he's got this guitar on after the first verse. So he plays the guitar solo on Brian, or the guitar that looks like this, and Roger Taylor's Telecaster. Let's get it right here. And then there's another stop in the song where it's I gotta be cool, relax, blah blah blah, and they're just clapping and singing. Brian changes guitars again and plays the red special for the end, and it sounds phenomenal. And I thought this was the coolest thing I've ever seen in my life. It's a 3-minute song. This guy makes 3 guitar changes on national TV without even seeing him do it, because they do it, the focus is on the singer, and he's doing these guitar changes backstage. And every time you see him, he's got a different guitar. I thought, as a kid, this was the cool. I grew up, with my favorite guitar players being like Rick Emmett and Joe Perry, Joe Perry has a guitar change every song, and if you've ever seen Aerosmith. So I thought this was the coolest thing ever that Brian May did this, and and maybe it's the reason why I bring a ridiculous amount of guitars to gigs and play them all. So anyways, that was my cool Brian May moment. Brian May is 78 years old this weekend. Still, I believe, still going strong. Has a very active Instagram account. Love seeing these players doing what they're doing at the ages that they're doing, and still making money, and still being active and doing whatever they have to do to play live. Sadly, you know how I feel about the streaming services out there taking money from these people that have catalogs, and they end up selling off their catalogs for an astronomical amount of money just to get them and their families, I guess, their last kick at the can for royalties, because that doesn't seem to be something that happens anymore. So for record sales, um, yeah, I don't like it, but anyhow, it's the sign of the times and what's happening. But it's great that these people can still flourish, and we still love the songs. The songs are timeless. They're ours. We own them as a general public because that's how the artists feel. Some artists don't like playing certain songs live, but they have to because they don't like them, but their fans love them. So, anyways, that's my thoughts on. It's great that Brian May is still active and playing out there, and as one of the members of Queen has passed away. One has retired completely, and Roger Taylor, I believe, still is a partner with Brian, keeping the Queen stuff alive with the musicals, the live shows, and everything else. So, cheers to Brian May for being out there and being amazing. Different kind of guitar hero, don't you think? I think so. Um, Queen was a different type of band. Um, Two types of Queen songs. There's the ones that Freddie wrote on piano, and there's the rock songs that Brian wrote, like "Tie Your Mother Down" and "Crazy Little Thing." And I'm not sure if "Crazy Little Thing" was Freddie's or it was just it was a tip of the hat to Elvis what that song was. And but if you they recorded the songs two different ways. If it was a Freddie song like Bohemian Rhapsody, it was just Freddie on piano and vocals, bass player John Deacon, and drums, and they would cut the basic track like that and then fix things later and overdub later. If it was a rock song, it was the other way around. Freddie would be in the control room. Oh yeah, by the way, Brian was in the control room when those three guys were doing the bed tracks. And then they'd flip for the "Tie Your Mother Down" guitar bass songs, and Freddie would be in the control room. Brian would be doing bass, drums, guitar, bed tracks. If you're Queen fans, you know this stuff already. But anyways, I love Brian May. I think he's, like I said, a different kind of guitar hero. The soloing is just brilliant. Didn't play Marshalls, played Vox. Didn't play the standard guitar. Had his homemade Red Special that he made himself with his father. Now he has a bunch of duplicates and double necks and all kinds of stuff that he plays as spares, but he always has the Red Special. Apparently, I saw an interview with his guitar roadie, who it's his job to protect the one of a kind, irreplaceable, priceless guitar. So he says, it's his job to carry it around and keep it with him all the time. So he says he was coming home from a gig, and had to go fill up gas in the car, and he said, "Do I keep it on my back while I'm filling up the gas, and then some guy comes along and takes it off me, or do I hide it in the car when I go in to pay, and someone steals the car or steals the guitar out of the car?" This was one of his dilemmas, while he was taking care of the Red Special. But cool stuff. Cool stuff. And Brian, just a phenomenal guitar player in a different kind of world of when we were listening to 80s shredders and technical players. This guy was just beyond belief. I had Liam Leduc is one of my longtime guitar students who's phenomenal. Huge Queen fan. He could barely play a couple notes when I took him on as a student years ago, and he brought in his Queen book, little Queen book, from Hal Leonard, and we said, okay, let's look through some songs, and we're looking through. How they have the 3 block chords on the top of the first page. The first page in a Queen song is all the block chords, and then they start the song on the second page. That's how many chords are in some of the Freddie songs in that. So I was like looking through this, going, what do we teach a beginner guitarist here? You don't know any of these chords. I didn't know a lot of the chords or a lot of extended stuff and all that kind of thing. Crazy stuff going on when you're duplicating guitar chords or sorry, piano-based chords over to guitar, because we only have these 4 fingers on 6 strings. Piano players have 10 fingers and thumbs included there on 88 keys. So, yeah, you have a little bit of an advantage on us. But Liam's a fine guitar player. I'm playing with Liam this afternoon. We're doing a show in a place called Wincy Mills in Paris, Ontario. Come out if you're in the area. 2 p.m. we will be there. Yeah, 2 p.m. to 4. Come out. We'll be playing only acoustic stuff. My whole family will be playing. A bunch of our teachers will be playing, and some select students that are around for the summer will be playing. So, anyways, Wincy Mills in Paris if you're interested. Catch up on local stuff. Bridge on Fire, taking the rest of the summer kind of off unless we get a last minute gig because we're busy and people are on vacation and all kinds of stuff. You'll see us in September. Keep the Faith, very busy. We'll be playing every weekend from now until September. Check the Keep the Faith website for dates. We are at Chudley's in Milton, Ontario this Friday, July. I almost said January. July, the J. June, July. July 25th. We will be there. Just a safety note, because there was an incident last night, and I will be very private about the family and band member it happened with. But please, musicians, drink a lot of water. Don't get heat exhaustion, especially in this crazy weather we have in Ontario. Other thing is, have the emergency contact numbers for all your band members, because when something does happen, I had a hard time getting a hold of a family last night. And let's just say I had to resort to driving to their house and banging on their door and disturbing people to get a hold of someone. So, band members out there or band leaders out there, get the emergency contacts for all your band members. So if anything does happen out on the road, you can get a hold of people and take care of them. We took care of the situation last night very nicely, and everything's okay, and everyone's fine. Have a great July. I'll see you, and still be July. I might have to do some pre-recording next week because I'm going to be out of town on Sunday. I'll do that. Anyhow, people, Brian May, happy birthday. Every you guys out there, have a great one. Go out and see live music and help people. See ya. Bye-bye.